Hey there guys, Andrew Baxter, Australian Investment Education. We help you create tomorrow's wealth today, and as you can see from the sign behind me, we're here at Ford's former manufacturing plant here in Geelong in Victoria, and it's actually very sad on a number of metrics for me. My father worked in the car industry in the UK for around 40 years, worked for British Leyland and Rover, and the car industry in the UK went into a cyclical decline due to labour costs, and that's exactly what's happened here. Very sad when you look at this beautiful Art Deco building, the steel shutters up on the window, because it's gone, it's closed, and it's very, very unlikely to reopen. So why did that happen? And the bottom line is that it's manufacturing costs. As consumers, we'll want to pay as little as possible for the best quality good we can get. Now, General Motors, not Ford, General Motors did some research on their costs in Australia, and on average it costs twice as much to build a car in Australia as it did in Europe, or 4 times as much to build a car in Australia as it does in Asia. That adds, looking at the labour costs, about $3,750 to the cost of a car. And people don't want to pay that. People want better and better value all of the time. And as a consequence, this beautiful factory is no more and it's closed down. And the consequence, not only for the thousands of people that were working here, but also for the local economy, is really quite difficult, because replacing a manufacturing job like this, and it's not just this particular factory here in Geelong that's closed down, there's also fruit packing with companies like SPC. They are no more, and not working in manufacturing and replacing maybe a 60, 70, 80 grand a year job driving for Uber, it's just not a like-for-like comparison. So it does weigh very, very heavily. And this, unfortunately, is the global economy that we live in, where it's easy to get goods and services delivered from many, many parts of the world cheaply to satisfy our needs as a consumer. And it's a big problem not only in retail, but it's also a big, big problem in wholesale and manufacturing, as you can see from here too. So this desire for value comes at a cost, and that's something to bear in mind when you look at companies like Amazon. Great trading stock. Look at Alibaba, great trading stock, both very, very lucrative. We've traded many times, but when you start to import because of price only, it does have a knock-on effect, as we can see here. And I mean, this is a massive factory. As I say, very nostalgic, but it's not dissimilar to the car factory that my father worked in the UK. So it covers hundreds of hectares, and it's just mothballed and it's shut up, and it's very, very, very unlikely to reopen again. But this is the future world that we live in. Now, in these scenarios, sometimes it can be a ray of sunshine. If you look at Fremont in San Francisco, which formerly was a car factory for one of the larger US car manufacturers, it's now run by Tesla. So it's been reopened and retooled in a very, very different way with high-tech stuff. So there is a possibility for that sort of thing and getting a second lease of life. But it's pretty rare that those things happen. Very interesting, and bear in mind, labour costs are an important component in what goes on within the economy. We haven't seen a lot of wage growth in the Australian economy, but wages are relatively high compared with international standards, because it is an expensive country to live in. And unfortunately, you can price yourself out of the market, which is exactly what's happened here. Not so much a fundamental view on stocks, but a fundamental view on the economy. And when you understand how these things knit together, you can start to plant your flag in trading opportunities that have the ability to deliver a win for all the stakeholders. A win for you as an investor, a win for the company that's the employer, and of course a win for the employees that enjoy working in that. And we've seen a great big move in this in the US, and irrespective of your political views, that Make America Great Again and bring manufacturing jobs back to the US has been a huge, huge push under the current administration, under President Trump. And you're starting to see companies like BMW relocate their manufacturing from Mexico and actually putting it back into places like Greensboro, Alabama, to create those manufacturing jobs, which are the grassroots of any strong economy. Let's hope we see the same thing here. Chat soon.